G'day folks, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to be looking at musculoskeletal system and the fascial system. And a little bit about my background in this. I worked as a myotherapist for about a decade or so, and I worked with clients and athletes with chronic pain and injuries and so on. So I have a deep interest in this topic. So let's have a look at why this is important in relationship to our training in this course of being able to sense and conduct energy. So let's look at the musculoskeletal system. So basically, there are a bunch of muscles that in our body that hold up the structure, and it has an origin and insertion which flexes or extends a joint. So for example, we've got the bicep, which originates at the shoulder joint and inserts into the elbow joint. And when the muscle contracts, it flexes the arm. When the muscle relaxes, it extends the arm, with the facilitation of the tricep being the antagonist, right? So that's basically the idea of how the human body works from a musculoskeletal perspective, or the old model of looking at human movement. But as we've observed, human movement's quite complex and it's very fluid-like, and there's a lot of grace in it, especially if it's trained that way. So this is where the fascia or myofascial system comes in. So let's break down the properties of what fascia is and the functions of what fascia is. So fascia is made up of 70% water and the rest being elastin and collagen. Right? So there's not much to it, but it has a very significant role in the human movement and human function. So if we break down the different properties, because it's made up of 70% water, it's a great conductor of energy. So electrical fields ripple through the fascial system 5 times faster than it does through nerves. So it's about 1200 kilometers per hour compared to 240 kilometers per hour with nerves. So that's significantly faster, right? So the other properties of fascia is it's a connective tissue. It connects everything to everything else. So it works as a network, and it looks like a spider web when you look at it in a microscope, and it works like a spider web too. And it's not just a connective tissue, it's also a sensory organ, because electrical signals are carried through fascia between nerves and muscles, nerves and organs and so on. So it's a sensory organ. So now we can start to see the significance fascia has in terms of our training. So let's go a little bit deeper, and this will take us to the concept of biotensegrity. So biotensegrity is an engineering term, tensegrity, which is tension and integrity put together. So what that essentially means is when there's equal tension everywhere, the structure is held up efficiently. So an example of this is the bridges that are held up by cables, and so there's no compressional load. The bridge is floating in the air because there's tension is equal everywhere in the bridge. And there are tensegrity models where you can look at these models to comprehend this idea of biotensegrity. And if you have a look at Tom Meyer's works with the fascial lines, and you get a better idea as well. So basic idea is there's connective tissue that connects all the muscles and joints together in lines throughout the body. So there's a frontal line, back line, side lines, cross lines, and spiral lines. And when there's equal tension within these lines, you have what's called biotensegrity. So meaning the tension is distributed equally everywhere, so the structure is held with efficiency and effectiveness. So essentially what that means is your movement is very efficient. Your ability to transmit force and absorb force is quite efficient, because there's equal tension everywhere. Okay, this leads us to proprioception. So I've mentioned this in the previous video of what proprioception is. So it's basically our body's awareness in space and relationship to gravity. So athletes have really well developed proprioception, whereas someone who's got more of a sedentary lifestyle, they don't have well developed proprioception. So their relationship to gravity and space is weak. And so that's why they're not very grounded compared to an athlete. So what creates this proprioception? It's fascia. So when you create this biotensegrity where there's equal tension and there's efficiency in transmission of force and receiving force, it's able to create this awareness at a much more effective manner. So fascia training increases your proprioception, and then that leads to our clairsentience, which is an extension of our feeling of touch, our sense of touch, and it's an extension of our proprioception. So when the body is connected as one, you're able to conduct more energy, and 2, you're able to increase the spatial awareness as well, because your mind is released of the tensions that are held in your body, and they can spread into the field. So this gives us ability to conduct more energy and sense the field around us, right? This is why fascial training is super important. So we have to take this into consideration with our training. So we'll go in depth into the training aspect, the training module on how to develop fascia, right? So that would be a very interesting subject. And so we'll go a little bit deeper into that in terms of understanding it through practice. Okay, so that's about it for this video. I'll catch you in the next video.